Hello, I'm Richard Papworth. I'm talking to you from my home in Findon in Derbyshire. I've written several books and I'd like to bring to your attention. First and foremost, I served in the prison service for 30 years, and the first book that I wrote was called Key Man. Key Man relates to my life from the very basic of being born in 1935 right up to virtually present times. And Key Man tells the story of myself. I started life as a police cadet until I was called up for military service, and I served in the Royal Military Police. I moved from the Royal Military Police under mob and became a county policeman, met a city girl, married her. She passed away last year, and from retirement, that was 30 years following, I wrote this book. This book is entitled Key Man. It's full of humour, which you wouldn't expect from a prison officer, but there we are, that's how it is. It's got masses of cartoons in. It's got a real life story. It's got my dear wife there. It goes right through to retirement, because when I retired, that's when I started writing it. And my wife said, "What are you going to do to get from under my feet?" And I said, "I'll write a book." She said, "Forget it, you can't even use a computer." That was a red rag to a bull, ladies and gentlemen, and consequently I sat down and 10 years later produced Key Man. It has to date sold 2,000 copies. It has given me the privilege of giving a reasonable donation to Macmillan Cancer, which I'm very fond of. I think they do a wonderful cause, and that set me off as a writer. So I wrote a little booklet on Unaccustomed as I Am, which is a guide to public speaking, which I hope I shall prove to you, because I do a lot of public speaking, and from my experience. So it's two books in one, and they are how to go about writing a book, the legal obligations and all the little clangers that I dropped on the path. As I went through the experience of writing the book, I was approached by certain publishers who wanted in excess of £8,000 to publish the book. They said it would sell very well. This is Key Man, incidentally. And I thought I'd have a go at self-publishing. So I self-published this book, and it cost me £1,800, which is considerably less than a professional company would have charged. I know they've got their little ways and means of selling books, but I've sold mine at public speaking. I do a lot of public speaking, probably in excess of 60 a year, and I talk on a variety of subjects. But this one I wrote first and foremost on from my experience. That is relating to my experiences and pitfalls and everything I found in the process of writing a book. It explains simple systems that I use. It explains how to deal with the big boys, because the big shops want massive discounts, which you can ill afford if you're selling books at low prices. This one comes at £2.99, but the other side is Unaccustomed as I Am, which is to public speaking, obviously, which I do a lot. And it's just a guide for people perhaps talking at weddings, perhaps talking at birthdays, perhaps talking at retirements, perhaps talking at any sort of situation that might arise. You might be called to give a talk in the company you work for and you're not experienced. Well, I was hoping to give you a bit of a guide towards it. So That retails at £2.99, so it's not an expense if anybody's interested in that area. And then we had a lurcher dog, and she was a fantastic dog. She was a ragamuffin, really. She was found in the fields by my daughter, and she had half her nose bitten off and her ribs were showing. So my daughter, in a gentle, persuasive way, persuaded me and Margaret, which was my wife, to take possession of this dog. She wasn't going to last too long, but we gave her 12 months of absolute comfort. Recently I thought, well, I'd like to write a little tribute to her. And the tribute turned into a book. The book is called Dog Angel, retails at £4.50, and it relates to her background and part fiction and part fact. It is very educational. It will teach children, for example, to use the Green Cross Code. And the artist is fantastic. Her name's Helen Stone. You probably know Richard Stone, the author. Well, it's his daughter, and she does a fantastic job for me. All the proceeds, except for the overheads, go to Rainbows, which is a children's hospice situated in Loughborough in Leicestershire. They get no government funding, and so all I can raise for them, I will.